Hi everyone, thank you for coming to my channel again. Today I will talk about Illuminati and New World Order. The founder of Illuminati, Adam Weishaupt, was born on February 6, 1748 in Ingolstadt in Germany. At a young age, he enrolled in a Jesuit school. After completing his studies, he became a professor of natural and canon law at the University of Ingolstadt, married and started a family. On the surface, it was a conventional enough career. A closer look at his upbringing, however, reveals that he always had a restless mind. As a boy, he was an avid reader, consuming books by the latest French Enlightenment philosophers in his uncle's library. Bavaria at that time was deeply conservative and Catholic. He was not the only one who believed that the monarchy and the church was repressing freedom of thought. Convinced that the religious ideas were no longer an adequate belief system to govern modern societies, he decided to find another form of illumination, a set of ideas and practices that could be applied to radically change the way European states were run. He was not, he said, against religion itself, but rather the way in which it was practiced and imposed. His thinking, he wrote, offered freedom from all religious prejudice, cultivates the social virtues, and animates them by a great, a feasible, and speedy prospect of universal happiness. To achieve this, it was necessary to create a state of liberty and moral equality, freed from the obstacles which subordination, rank, and riches continually flow in our way. On the night of May 1st, 1776, the first Illuminati met to found the order in a forest near Ingolstadt. Bathed in torchlight, there were 5 men. There they established the rules that were to govern the order. All future candidates for admission required the members' consent, a strong reputation with well-established familial and social connections and wealth. Over the following years, Weishaupt's secret order grew considerably in size and diversity, possibly numbering 600 members by 1782. They include important people in Bavarian public life, such as Baron Adolf von Licht and the banker Mayer M. Rothschild, who provided funding. Although at first Illuminati were limited to Weishaupt students, the membership expanded to include noblemen, politicians, doctors, lawyers, and jurists, as well as intellectuals and some leading writers. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. By the end of 1784, the Illuminati had 2,000 to 3,000 members. Baron von Lick played a very considerable role in the society's organization and expansion. As a former Freemason, he was in favor of adopting rites similar to theirs. Members of the Illuminati were given a symbolic secret name taken from classical antiquity. Clearly, they had some unbelievable beliefs. They thought suicide was legitimate and that their enemies supposed to be poisoned and that religion was an absurdity. Later in 1787, the Bavarian state dismantled the Illuminati, and actually the Illuminati orchestrated the French Revolution and assassination of JFK. You can refer back to the first video that I made about the last Prince of France, Prince Louis the sixth, 17. At that time, the French Revolution was orchestrated by the Illuminati, and then when he went to U.S., he joined the Illuminati. How interesting is that? And then about the assassination of John F. Kennedy, the Illuminati, George Bush the senior, he was the one assassinated JFK. George Bush the senior, he passed away last year. Actually, he was executed by the Trump administration. He was tried at the military tribunal. He was found guilty of assassination of JFK and orchestrated the 911. That's why he was executed. The Council on Foreign Relations is the American branch of the conspiracy to take over the world and create a world government, according to the Illuminati. The leaders of this group, as well as the leaders of the nation, are all members of the Illuminati and play integral roles in the group's mission. The council was founded in 1921 by President Woodrow Wilson's chief advisor, Edward Mandell House. He allegedly wielded a great deal of power during the Wilson administration, and as a mastercist, he hoped to create a socialist society in the United States. The CFR allegedly was created by House and his associates to destroy freedom and independence in the United States. Key financing for the council came from the Rockefeller and Carnegie Foundation. In the 1920s and in the 1940s, Roosevelt invited CFR members to take over important positions in the State Department. They allegedly have retained domination during the past 60 years. Carol Quigley, Bill Clinton's mentor at Georgetown University and a member of the CFR, claimed in his book Tragedy and Hope. The CFR is the American branch of a society which originated in England and which believes that national boundaries should be obliterated and a one world rule established. Rear Admiral Chester Ward, a former member of the CFR, for 16 years explained the most powerful clique in these elite groups have one objective in common. They want to bring about the surrender of the sovereignty of the national independence of the United States. A second clique of international members is the CFR comprises the Wall Street international bankers and their key agents. Primarily, they want the world banking monopoly from whatever power ends up in the control of global government. Their sinister plan, New World Order, or One World Government has been always been there all along. We just didn't know until maybe during Obama's years, and now we are having this final fight with them. Dan Smoot, a former member of the FBI headquarters staff in Washington, D.C., explained the council's purpose. The ultimate aim of the CFR is to create a one-world socialist system and to make the U.S. an official part of it. For decades, presidential candidates have been members of the Illuminati, making it virtually impossible for the country to elect a non-Illuminati leader. Allegedly, President Kennedy became disloyal to the CFR just before his assassination. The Illuminati have influence not only in the politics of the United States, but in popular culture as well. CFR members supposedly controls NBC, CBS, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and other important newspapers. Time, Newsweek, Fortune, and Business Weekly allegedly are led by CFR members. This Illuminati also dominate academia of corporate America, tax exempt foundations, labor unions, and the military. Those CFR members dominate almost all facets of American life. They are not a well known group because the journalists and communications executives involved with the council do not disclose its existence. The news media remains silent regarding the activities of the CFR. So the American people have no way to be informed about this menacing presence in the government and society. The Illuminati in the United States are protected by virtue of the types of people who claim membership. The CFR not only influences decisions made in the higher echelons of the U.S. government, but also finances interest groups, which put appropriate pressure on government agencies and officials. The main headquarters of the CFR is at the corner of Park Avenue and 68th Street in New York City. The building was donated to the council by the Rockefeller family in 1929, and the organization's main goal remains to destroy the freedom and independence of the United States. David Rockefeller continues to act as the chairman of its board of directors. In a recent interview with the BBC, David Bramwell, a man who has dedicated himself to documenting the origins of the myth, claims the modern-day Illuminati legend was influenced not by Weishaupt but rather by LSD. The 1960s counterculture and specifically a text called Principia Discordia. The book extolled an alternative belief system, Discordianism, which preached a form of anarchism and gave birth to the Discordian movement, which ultimately wished to cause civil disobedience through practical jokes and hoaxes. One of the main proponents of this new ideology was a writer called Robert Anton Wilson, who wanted to bring chaos back into society by dismantling misinformation through all portals, through counterculture, through the mainstream media, claims Bramwell. He did this by sending fake letters to the men's magazine Playboy, where he worked, attributing cover-ups and conspiracy theories, such as the JFK assassination, to a secret elite organization called the Illuminati. What is the New World Order? Theories about how the New World Order operates run from the faintly credible in light of the Davos summit, a cabal of politicians and business leaders getting together to decide global policies doesn't seem impossible to the outright bizarre. Early this year, Canada's respected former defense minister Paul Hellyer came out and claimed not only that the Illuminati is real, but that it does indeed control the world. On another note, David X, the former TV presenter, claimed that the world's leaders are actually super intelligent lizards in human guise who control our reality from the moon. In his theories, the reptilians are Rothschilds, Bob Hope, and Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. Who are the other members? Beyonce and Jay-Z? Illuminati experts said that in 2013, the Super Bowl halftime, she turned into her alter ego, Sasha Fierce, of being a demonic entity, and on stage she was devil worshipping. So as in Coachella Music Festival, she was displaying and wearing symbols that help people remember she's out to help establish the New World Order.